Hi, my name is Megan Atevle, and I make interactive floor and wall experiences for a living. And this week, I'm going to show you how to make your own interactive custom wall ball game. These are really fun games to play in play centers or in clinics. This game is themed about washing your hands. So you play by throwing balls at germs that appear and washing them away. It would be pretty fun if you had a ball that looks like a bubble of soap, or even bean bags that look like bars of soap. And this game was super easy to make. It took me less than an hour, and you can make a game like this too. All you need to run an interactive wall game is a 3D camera, a computer, and a projector. And we have complete information about the equipment that you need and where to get it and how much it's going to cost right on our website. So if you're interested in setting up a wall ball game like this, please visit LUMOplay.com. Without any further ado, let me show you how I made this game. Before you can make a custom app with LUMOplay, you will need a paid LUMOplay license. You can see the different licenses and the features that the licenses come with right on our website on the pricing page. But we basically have two licenses. One is Playground, and that's for not-for-profits and play centers and schools, any organization that is not going to be making a lot of custom content. And then Playmaker, which is the license I'm using today, is our agency license, and it allows you to publish as many apps as you want to with no additional fees. Playground, because it is sold at the lowest possible price, does not include the publishing fees for custom apps, so that becomes pay as you go, and the price is listed on our website. When you go to make a custom experience on LUMOplay, you're going to want to make sure that the screen that you're using to do your design, so the computer you're using to do your design, matches the resolution of the display that you're using in your final display if they are different computers. So if you're using a projector that's 1920 by 1200 or 1920 by 1080, which are kind of like the most common resolutions and aspect ratios, or if you're using, a 16:9 or 16:10 4K display, just make sure that your resolution on your design computer matches and that the graphics that you make for your custom app are also made at that resolution, or it's not going to look as good. So the template that I'm using today is called Wall Attack. When I click Create, the Wall Attack template will pop up, and there is audio in this effect, so I'm going to turn that off for now so that we don't have to listen to it while I'm making this game, but you will be able to add your own audio. All of the assets that you need to create to make one of these apps are in our written tutorial, and you can find a link to that in the description of this video. So when you start making an app, I think it's a very good idea to name your effect first so that it's easy to find, especially if you're making a lot of different custom apps. And if you're making different versions, then you can use versioning numbers to keep track of which version you're making. So we're going to call this Wash the Germs. And I'm not going to be adding any overlay images, but if you did want to make your game a custom shape, say you wanted it to be a circle or to have sort of a faded out border, this is where you would put that image in. All of the images that I use in these templates are PNGs with transparency, which are really easy to make with any graphic design software. I'm going to go straight to the game screens and just start loading in all of the game screens that I made for this. So go down to the folder, wash the germs, and then start with the title. And you'll see the change happen in real time as you're making your game, so you can double check that everything is working. I'm going to replace the health icon with a bar of soap. You can see it, well, you can't see it till the game starts. You can see it up here. And then the game over screen I will replace with the screen that I made. Now, when you're making games like this, you kind of have to play them while you're making them to make sure that the pacing is good, and also to double check all of the different elements look good on different screens. So if you want to check your game over screen, you'll have to play the game until it ends. But fortunately, this is a pretty quick game to lose if you're not actually trying. So you only get 3 lives, so it's It keeps you very, very active when you're doing it as a wall ball game, but when you're testing it out, at least it's not too painful. You don't have to wait too long. I'm going to change the background image. This background is supposed to look like the surface of your skin. So the germs are appearing on your hands and you're washing them away. And I'm going to get rid of all of the characters which are in the base game. They're all zombies, so we'll get rid of those and replace them with all the germs. And all of these assets came from the stock site that I like to use for these tutorials. It's 123RF. If I had time, I would absolutely love to make my own graphics, but right now I'm getting really into 3D animation, so you'll be seeing some SDK games from me where I model and topologize and rig and animate all of the characters from scratch, and that'll be really fun. For stuff like this, stock images work really, really well. So now that I've started the game, you can see that these guys don't pop up too quickly. There's some settings down here that will change that. The spawn rate, if you turn it down, it makes them spawn more quickly. So when the game restarts, you'll be able to see that. So now they pop up a lot more quickly. It makes the game much, much harder. So I'm gonna leave the spawn rate maybe a little bit higher than that, but definitely I want them to be all over the place. I want this to be ideal for like a gym class or a clinic, a hospital, a waiting room, a place where there's a lot of kids and they're all playing together and trying to beat the score. And I'm also gonna leave this portal image the way it is because I think it's pretty appropriate for the game. It's like a little green spinny thing that the germs come out of. You can change that if you want to. I'm leaving it for now. For the particles, I want soap bubbles, so I made some soap bubble images, and again, they're all PNGs on transparencies. And just to double check the particle size, I will hit a few of them. So they kind of just stay on the ground like that. I don't really want that, so I'm going to turn the speed up. Yeah, so that makes them pop out quite a bit more. I think the density is good. I'm going to leave that. Now's the part where you add the audio. So we have a licensor called Upbeat. The audio that I'm using for this game is called The Flamingo. It's by Christian Larson, and it's a very, very fun song. So the old song is kind of creepy. It goes with a zombie game, but I'll just turn this on now. That's going to be more fun, and I think also more appropriate for the type of game. And then there's also a bunch of sound effects, and I have splash sounds instead of kind of like the more squishy zombie killing sounds. So I'll open that up and again turn the audio on really quickly to test it. That's very satisfying. Great. So now that that is all over, the last stage of changing this game is to adjust the labels. So right now there is a high score label that is not turned on, but I do want it turned on. So this will show what the highest score ever achieved while the game has been running is. Every time you restart the game, this number will reset. So it's great because when you have different groups of kids, they're all kind of starting from scratch trying to beat that high score. You can change the label if you want to, so I can change this to germs destroyed or germs washed, let's say. That seems a little bit less aggressive. And then I can also change the color. So if I want the color to match the title a little bit, there's an outline that I can adjust. So, and then turn the alpha up on it so it's easier to see. There's a few different fonts to choose from, so you can choose the one that goes best with your game. I really like the marker, so I'm gonna change it to that, and that's it. Now I can just click save on this and close it, and it will show up with a thumbnail in the drafts section. And all I need to do is publish it. Now, once you've published your app, you can no longer edit it. So you wanna make sure that you test this and you're really happy with it. We are working on adding a feature that will allow you to revert apps that you've made to a draft so you can continue editing them, but that is nowhere near being finished. So for now, just be really careful when you publish your app. Assume that you're not going to be able to change it, and it will warn you. It'll tell you that you're not going to be able to edit your app once it's published. If you click OK, it uploads the app to our server. You'll be able to access it from any LUMOplay system that you have and play it on all of your displays. I hope you enjoyed this week's tutorial as much as I enjoyed making this game. It was really fun to find the sound effects and the background audio and all of the little graphics that I wanted to use, and to think of a theme that I thought would be fun and educational and would spark really great conversations with young people about the importance of washing your hands and keeping clean. If you have any questions, you can reach me at info@lumoplay.com, or you can leave a comment. I answer every comment. If you like what we're doing and you want to support us, the absolute best way to do that is to engage with this video, share it, leave a comment, maybe subscribe to our channel, and please reach out if you want to discuss a project. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you next week with another tutorial.